Welcome to a video on multiples. Please make sure you watch the video carefully and post 2 questions or comments on Edmodo when you're finished. Up at the top you'll see I have 3 times 1 equals 3, 3 times 2 equals 6, 3 times 3 equals 9, 3 times 4 equals 12. 3, 6, 9, and 12 are multiples of 3. You can find out the multiples of a number by counting by that number, skip counting, just like we do in class. So for example, if you want to find out the multiples of 3, you just start counting by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so on. Any number that you say when you're counting by 3s is a multiple of 3. It means you can multiply 3 times another number to get a whole number with that answer, and that number is a multiple. So, is 3 a factor of 9? And remember, a factor is a number that you can multiply by another factor to get a number. So is 3 a number that you can multiply to get 9? And yes, it is. So is 9 a multiple of 3? Meaning, if we count by 3s, or can we multiply 3 times another number to get 9? And the answer on both of those is yes. So is 16 a multiple of 4? In order to find the multiples of 4, we can just we can skip count by 4s. So 4, 8, 12, 16. So right there we can see, yes, 16 is a multiple of 4. Because when we count by 4s, we do land on 16. You can also think to yourself, well, does 4 times another whole number equal 16? And the answer, of course, is yes. 4 times 4 equals 16. So 16 is a multiple of 4. So then we learned about factors, and is 4 a factor of 16? Can you multiply 4 by another whole number to get 16? And yes, the answer is yes. So is 12 a multiple of 3? Well, we can count by 3s to find out. 3, 6, 9, 12. Yes. Is 12 a multiple of 4? We can either count by 4s, like we just counted by 3s, or you can say to yourself, does 4 times another number equal 12? And the answer is yes. 4 times 3 equals 12. Is 12 a multiple of 5? Let's count by 5s to find out. 5, 10, 15. So right there you can see no, 12 is not a multiple of 5 because when we count by 5s, we do not land on 12. Is 12 a multiple of 6? This time we can think about, well, does 6 times another number equal 12? And yes, 6 times 2 equals 12, so 12 is a multiple of 6. Is 12 a multiple of 7? Does 7 times any number equal 12? The answer is no. Think about listing the first 4 multiples of 5. How would you do this and what would they be? So when you're listing out all the multiples of a number, you start with that number. So I would start with 5. And then again, I'm just skip counting by 5s. So I want to do it in a nice organized way. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So there I have listed out the first 5. Oh, I was supposed to list the first 4 multiples of 5, but there are the first 5 multiples of 5. So you start with the number itself and then you skip count. So list the first 4 multiples of 6. I want you to think about that one for a moment. And again, you would start with 6. And then you would do 12, 18, 24. And those are the first 4 multiples of 6. Now here we are looking at the table, a table that contains 1 to 100, okay? And this is just kind of a neat table that you can really see the multiples very easily. So for example, if I wanted to highlight the multiples of, if I wanted to highlight the multiples, if I wanted to highlight the multiples of 3, I could say 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so forth. And you can see you're just skipping counting by 3s every time. If I wanted to see the multiples of 2, let's see if we can see any patterns if I highlight the multiples of 2 here. See if you notice anything special. One thing I'm noticing just as I'm going here is that when a number is a multiple of 2, its ones digit is either 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. If you take a look at the ones digits and all the numbers I've highlighted, and I didn't complete the whole table, but you can see that the ones digit is always 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. If I were to go ahead and highlight the multiples of 5 on this table, follow along again and see if you notice any patterns. So what you may notice is that its ones digit, if a number is a multiple of 5, its ones digit is either 0 or 5. So that kind of is helpful when you're thinking about multiples as well. So we talked about common factors, and I have a question here just to refresh your memory. What is a common factor of 4 and 6? So again, a factor is a number we can multiply to get 4 and 6. So I know the factors of 4 include 1, 2, and 4. I know the factors, so I'm going to, the factors of 4, are 1, 2, and 4. And the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. So you'll notice that the common factors are 2, and of course 1, but 1 is usually is a common factor for any number. So if we're talking about multiples, the difference is if I'm going to list the multiples of 4, I'm going to start with 4, 8, 12, 16. So I'm starting at 4 and I'm skip counting and continuing on. If I'm doing 6, I'll start with 6, 12, 18. So I can stop there because I see a common multiple is 12. Okay? So multiples can go on and on forever. If you think about it, what are the common what is a multiple of 4? Well, we could start at 4 and skip count by 4s to infinity, right? So there are no set numbers of multiples. Now with factors, the factors of 4 are only 1, 2, and 4. Those are the only numbers we can multiply to get 4. So factors, there are a set number, but multiples can go on and on and on and on forever. So the best way to figure out multiples, if you're asked to find a common multiple like 4 and 6, you can start listing the multiples of 4 and the multiples of 6 and look for the common threads. I hope that you enjoyed this video on multiples, and make sure to post 2 questions or comments on Edmodo.